Next we have is problem analysis and problem solving techniques. So basically problem analysis and problem solving techniques are the things which is used to solve any problem. Problem analysis क्या होता है? कोई भी हमारे पास problem है उसको analyze करना, उसका एक solution ढूंढना which should be most optimized and efficient solution. उसके लिए हम problem solving techniques use करते हैं जो कि in the form of algorithms और flowcharts होती है. So सबसे पहले problem analysis के कौन कौन से steps है? First is define the problem. Diagnose the situation so that your focus is on the problem, not just its symptoms. Okay, so problem analysis में first step है define the problem. उसके अंदर आता है reviewing and documenting how processes currently work. Okay, what information about the tools, communicating with what organizations, individuals, in what time frame, and in which format. It is like reviewing and documenting about the problem. Next is evaluating the possible impact of new tools and revised policies in the development of your what should be the model. Like आपको कैसे process करना चाहिए वो सारी चीज़ें evaluate करना. ये आता है आपका define the problem में. Next is generate alternative solutions. इसमें आता है postpone the selection of one solution until several problem solving alternatives has been proposed. Like multiple alternatives में से we should always select the most ideal solution. Brainstorming and team problem solving techniques are both useful tools to solve a problem more quickly. Okay, next is evaluate and select an alternative. Like if you can discuss the problems with some other skilled persons so as to get the best alternative solution. All individuals of your group should be involved in the decision making of any process. Fourth is implement the solution whichever has been decided, and also you should take a follow up about the situation after implementing the solution. Follow up लेना, feedback लेना after implementing the solution is very important, and like continuous monitoring and testing of actual events against expectations is important. Next we have is problem analysis. We have done. We are now moving forward to problem solving techniques, which we can do through algorithms and flowchart representation. So basically an algorithm is a step-by-step analysis of the process, while a flowchart explains the steps of a program in a graphical way. Flowchart हमारे क्या होता है? Graphical representation. Algorithm क्या होता है? Step-by-step analysis. So let's start with step 1, that is definition of algorithm. Writing a logical step-by-step method to solve the problem is called an algorithm. In other words, an algorithm is a process for solving any problem. Like in order to solve a mathematical or computer problem, this is the first step in the process. Algorithm can be presented by natural language, pseudocode and flowchart, etc. Okay. Next is definition of flowchart. A flowchart is a graphical or pictorial representation of an algorithm with the help of different symbols, shapes and arrows to demonstrate a process or a program. Okay, कोई भी process को define करने के लिए हम flowchart का use करते हैं, जिसके लिए हम कुछ symbols use करते हैं. For example, an oval is used as the start and end symbol. For input and output, a parallelogram is used. A rectangle is used to define any process or instruction. For decision making, we use this decision box, and arrows are used as a connector. These are the symbols used for flowchart. So what's the difference between algorithm and flowchart? Algorithm is a process for solving problems in a procedural format, whereas a flowchart is a graphical representation of a process. An algorithm is the process which is shown step by step. In flowchart, it is shown block by block. Algorithm is complex and difficult to understand, whereas flowchart is intuitive and easy to understand. Algorithm is convenient to debug errors, whereas flowchart is hard to debug. Algorithm is showcased in natural language, whereas in flowchart the solution is showcased in pictorial format. In algorithm, it is somewhat easier to solve complex problems, whereas in flowchart it is hard to solve. In algorithm, it costs more time to create an algorithm, whereas in flowchart, it takes less time to create a flowchart. So what are different types of algorithm? There are many types of algorithm which you should know about. For example, recursive algorithm. Recursive algorithm means a function calling itself regularly. For example, calculating the factorial recursively. In this, if n is 0, the factorial is 1. In this case, the base case that stops the recursion is this, whereas the recursive case is if n is greater than 0, the function calls itself with n minus 1 and multiplies the result by n. Okay. Next we have divide and conquer. In case of divide and conquer, we find the best solutions by breaking down a problem into some smaller independent sub-problems of the same type. Second, and finding the final solution of the original issue after solving these minor small problems. Next is greedy approach. It refers to always finding the best solution in every step instead of considering the overall optimal solution. Fifth step is use flowchart to represent algorithms. We can use flowcharts to represent algorithms. For example, we need to print 1 to 20. So for algorithm, we will be doing step 1, initialize x as 0, increment x by 1, then print x, and if x is less than 20, then go back to step 1. In this way, we can print numbers from 1 to 20. If this we represent with the flowchart, it will be something like this. Initially, we have started with a oval, then initialize x less than 0, increment x by 1, print x. If x less than 0, then again increment and print x. If no, then end. So in this way, it will be printing the numbers from 1 to 20. Next we have is to convert temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So we have a formula for that, and for algorithm it is read temperature in Fahrenheit, calculate temperature with formula this, and then print C. For flowchart, we will be having a start, then read the Fahrenheit temperature, then the process box where C is equal to 5 by 9 multiplied by F minus 32, then for the output print C, and then end the process. This will be our flowchart. Next we have example of algorithm and flowchart is to determine whether a student passed the exam or not. So its algorithm will be input the grades of 4 courses, M1, M2, M3, M4 will be the subjects. If some grade should be sum of all divided by 4. If it is less than 60, then print fail, else print pass. So this is the flow chart. Start, then input, then grade, then decision box. If grade is less than 60, then yes, print fail. If no, then print pass. And it ends the process. Okay. Next we have part 6 or step 6, that is the conclusion. We can conclude that a flowchart is pictorial representation of an algorithm. An algorithm can be expressed and analyzed through a flowchart. An algorithm shows you every step of reaching the final solution, while a flowchart shows you how to carry out the process by connecting each step. An algorithm uses mainly words to describe the steps, while you can create a flowchart with the help of symbols to make the process more logical. Next we have is comparison between flowchart algorithm and pseudocode. So basically pseudocode is textual with some syntax, target audience is programmers, and level of detail is moderately detailed. Ease of use is ease for programmers, and ease of translation to code is relatively easy. So let's see a problem to find the largest of 3 numbers using pseudocode, algorithm, and flowchart. So pseudocode of it will be start, read 3 numbers num1, num2, num3. If num1 is greater than num2, if num1 is greater than num3, then largest one is num1, else largest is num3. Else if num2 is greater than num3, then largest is num2, else largest is num3. So we will be checking like this. Print the largest number is largest and end. This will be our pseudocode. For this, next we have the algorithm. It's something like in more depth, like start, initialize the three numbers, let's say ABC, check if A is greater than B. If true, then check if A is greater than C. If true, then print A as the greatest one. If false, then print C as the greatest one. If false, then check if big B is greater than num3. If true, then print B as the greatest number. If false, then print C as the greatest number. This is the flow chart of to print the greatest of three numbers. Start, initialize ABC numbers. If A is greater than B, if true, then we will be checking if A is greater than C. If it's true, then print A is the biggest one. If not, then print C is the biggest one. And on the other side, if A is greater than B is false, then we will be checking B is greater than C or not. If it's true, then print B is greater, else we will be printing print C is greater, and then all the three will be linked to the end loop.